Started.
Go ahead, Mataji, continue reading.
Okay, Prabhuji. Sahasramura Bhagavan Yagya
Sasamurdha, you master
Murdha
Sahasram
Murdha
Murdha Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Yajna
Yagya
Murti
Shri
Shriyassa
Avir
Avir Vidya Dhadat Bhagan Anandayati Yajak Yajakan.
Yajakan. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. The Lord, in his thousand-headed form, the personification of sacrifice, had appeared there with his consort just to accept the offerings and delight his worshippers. Commentary. Lord Mahapurush is the originator of sacrifices and is their presiding deity, as described in the Purusha Sukta of the Rig Veda. At the beginning of creation, the first sacrifice in the universe was performed, and for this sacrifice, Lord Mahapurusha provided the sacrificial ingredients from his own body. The Lord reveals himself in this form on Brahmalok, not simply to take his offerings, but to please his worshippers. He enjoys personally distributing the results of sacrifice. पद्मयोनेः प्रहासार्थं द्रव्यजातं निवेदितम् सहस्रपाणिभिर्वक्त्र सहस्रेष्व अर्पयन् अदन्. Sorry. To enliven lotus born Brahma, the Lord consumed all the items offered him, placing them in his 1,000 mouths with his 1,000 hands. दत्तवेष्टान् यज्जामान्नेभ्यो वरान् निद्राग्रहं गतः लक्ष्मी संवाहयामानाघिरिर्निद्राम् आदत्त लीयया. After rewarding the performers of the sacrifices the benedictions they desired, Lord Mahapurush went to his sleeping quarters. As the goddess Lakshmi massaged his feet, he entered his pastime of sleep. To relieve the worshippers of any doubt as to whether he was enjoying the oblations, Lord Mahapurush ate the oblations with relish and without hesitation, as long as the offerings continued. When the offerings were finished, the Lord blessed the sages with benedictions, fulfilling their desires, such as the desires that they always be able to perform similar sacrifices. Lord Mahapurush and the goddess of fortune then went to their private quarters to rest. At this time, he was no longer visible to the residents of Brahmalok. The two principal pastimes of Lord Mahapurush and the two principal pastimes of Lord Mahapurush on Brahmaloka, his accepting sacrifices and his sleeping, are described by Vaishampanaya Rishi in the Mahabharata at the end of the account of the killing of Kalanemi. Vaishampayana said, स ददार्श मखेश्व अज्येर आजयेर इज्यामानानं महर्षिभिः भागं यज्ञियम् अश्नानं स्वं देहम् अपरं स्थितम्. He saw the Lord in yet another of his forms, consuming his share of the oblations of ghee offered in sacrifices by great sages. Sa tatra pravishannam eva jata bharam samudhavam samudvahan sahasra shiraso bhutva shayana yopachakrame. The thousand-headed lord, his heads covered with matted locks, entered the room and lay down to sleep. According to Sri Sukdev Goswami's account at the beginning of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, at the end of Dwapar Yuga, Lord Brahma and the other demigods, on the request of the earth personified, approached Lord Vishnu on Shweta from the shore of the Milk Ocean. One might ask why they needed to travel to Shvetadvip if Lord Vishnu was always present in Brahma's own domain. Although this journey was strictly speaking unnecessary, during some days of Brahma, the pastimes of entreating Lord Krishna to descend unfolds in this way. During other days of Brahma, such as the one described in Sri Hari Vamsha, Lord Vishnu is approached on Brahmalok itself. Srila Sanatan Goswami suggests that Brahma and the others may have gone to Shvetadvip because they felt reluctant to disturb Lord Mahapurusha's privacy while he was enjoying his sleep. Or else Brahma may have calculated that if Lord Mahapurush were to descend to earth at his request, Brahmalok would be bereft of his presence for the duration of the avatar. It would be better. Sorry, one sec. It would be better, therefore, to go to the milk ocean and ask Lord Vishnu there to become the avatar. In any case, when Sri Krishna descends, all the expansions of Godhead appear within him, including Lord Mahapurush and the Lord of Shvetadip. Thus, to say that Krishna descends through one form of Vishnu or another makes little difference. Krishna alone is the ultimate source of all avatars. तद् आज्ञया च यज्ञेषु नियुज्येश्वरिन् निजात्मजान् ब्रह्मानंद कार्यचरा चरा चार्चार्थं स्वं दिशनयं बिब्धिर् आगतः. As the Lord's At the Lord's request, Brahma then instructed his sons to continue the sacrifices while he went to his own royal court to deliberate on the management of the universe. Just before Lord Mahapurush went to his quarters to rest, he advised Brahma to turn the sacrifices over to his sons. This deputing of Brahma's sons is as authorities in Vedic sacrifice confirms the Supreme Person's internal instructions recorded in the Vedas. The Vedas describe that Brahma is the first Vedic priest, followed by his sons, who teach the methods of sacrifice thereafter to the people of the universe. Parmashthaye, sorry, Parmasthyaseන tatra sukhasenam nijaprabho mahima shravanakyayana param sharasta netrakam vichitra parmashvareya सामग्री परिसेवितं स्वतातं नारदो अभ्येत्य प्राणां व्योचा दंडवत्. As Brahma sat comfortably on his universal throne, absorbed in hearing and reciting the glories of his Lord, tears flowed from his 8 eyes. Surrounding Lord Brahma in attendance were the personified powers of universal rulership. Narada came close, offered respects to his father by falling to the ground like a stick, and then spoke. While the Supreme Lord was present, Narad did not speak his mind. Either he thought that speaking would be improper, or he found no opportunity to say anything until after the Lord had left. Only then could Narada offer full obeisances to his father, because one is generally forbidden to bow down to anyone else in the presence of the Supreme Lord. Since Brahma is both Narada's father and his spiritual master, Narad may have bowed only in his head to Brahma in front of the Lord Vishnu, but bowed down with his whole body after Lord Vishnu had left. Brahma's attention was now fixed on hearing about the great qualities of Lord Vishnu, such as his exceptional kindness to his devotees. Sri Narad Uvacha Bhavanev Kripapatram Dhruvam Bhagavato Harer Prajapati Patiryo Vai Sarvalok Pitamaha. Sri Narad said, "It is you who have truly received the mercy of Lord Hari. After all, you are the master of all masters of the living entity, of living beings of the universe, the grandfather of all the worlds. Eka srijati pati ati भुवनानि चतुर्दशा ब्रह्मानन्दास्येश्वरो नित्यं स्वयं भूरयश्च katyate. You alone create, maintain, and devour the 14 worlds. You forever rule the universe, and you are known as self born. In text 46 through 52, Narada enumerates the reasons for Brahma's being the most favored devotee of the Lord. Brahma's reign is not limited like those of Indra and other demigods. He maintains his position uninterrupted by the many partial annihilations that affect the lower regions of the universe. Sabhayam yasya vidyante मूर्तिमन्तो अर्थबोधकः यच्चतुर्वक्त्रतो जातः पुराणानिकामाध्ययः. Present in person in your assembly are the Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures, the revealers of truth, who were born from your four mouths. Although the four Vedas are eternal, they enter the material world periodically at the beginning of each day of Brahma, when one Veda appears from each of his four mouths. Brahma, therefore, is not the author of the Vedas, which include all spiritual and material knowledge, but he is Adi Kavi, the first authority on Vedic knowledge in this universe.
I think, can you just stop there? Can you just stop there? Just go to the word to word meaning.
Of this one?
Yeah. So if you look at it, Sabhayam in the assembly, Yasya whose Vidyante are present, Murti Mantaha in person. So one thing that we need to understand is that when we speak about Krishna's energy, you know, all there's nothing called all his energies are actually persons. That's very important. Just like we are persons, the Jiva is an energy, Mahamaya is a person. All his energies are persons. So there's nothing called other than persons. Therefore, it is explained that the Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures, revealers of truth, were present in person. That is the understanding. So they actually have personalities. It's not that uh, they are just some source of information and things like that. They're actually people. They may be manifest in the form of a book for us with some uh, with material which we can read, but that's their manifestation. But they're all people. This is very important. Any questions on that?
Like Srimad Bhagavatam is the Is also said to be the person,
Yeah, most
Bhagavata,
people. Yeah,
same way.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Go ahead. I mean, if there are no questions, you can go ahead.
यस्य लोकाश्च निश्चित्र स्वधर्माचार निष्ठया मदादि रहितै सद्भिर्लभ्यते शता जन्मभिः. Your world can be attained only by saintly persons who faultlessly perform their prescribed social duties, free from pride and other vices, for 100 lifetimes. Brahma's character is exalted and his planet glorious. Saintly persons who follow prescribed duties for 100 lives without error and without falling prey to pride, deceit, and other causes of deviation become eligible for birth on Brahmalok. As Lord Shiva says in his instructions to the Prachetas, Swadharma nishtha sata janma bhir puman virinchatam eti. A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. The position of Brahma earned by pious workers normally consists in being an associate of Brahma, receiving a universe of one's own to rule is much more rare. Prabhuji, it says you take birth, you become eligible for birth on Brahmaloka and also take the position of Brahma, the post of Brahma.
1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's a, no, what is being said here is that the position of Brahma earned by pious workers normally consists in being an associate of Brahma. That's what it's trying to say. Not that
Okay.
you will become Brahma. Receiving a universe of one's own to rule is much more rare. That's what is being mentioned. See that what is spoken of there is that 100 lives without error and without falling prey to pride. That
Hmm.
particular aspect is being described. And if one does that, then they become an associate of Brahma. Receiving a universe of one's own to rule is much more rare. That's what is mentioned.
But
Understood?
here also, Prabhuji, it said a person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma.
Yeah. Then you see the next line. What is mentioned?
The position of Brahma earned by pious workers normally
Okay.
consists in being an associate of Brahma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji. So this
Yeah,
verse
that's the
is
explanation of the previous. That is why that sentence is coming immediately after that. The
Okay.
previous one is a quote. Lord Shiva is talking to the Prachetas. And what it means is explained in the next line.
Mhm.
okay. So Prabhuji, I have a question. So this 4:24:29 says that one who has performed Varnashram Dharan, like for 100 births. So this line says that he is qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. But the next line says that he is qualified to become an associate in the Brahmalok.
No, no,
So
first
who
line is
becomes
from
Brahma
first,
then?
first, no, first, there is something called Shastra, Sadhu, Guru. Shastra is saying that. Sadhu is clarifying what it means. That is what it is.
Okay, yeah, that I understood. But then who becomes Brahma?
No, so that's what is explained there. That you normally become an associate of Brahma. Receiving a universe of one's own to rule is much more rare. That's it.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know whether you need what else you need to do. Maybe you need to do further more or to become a Brahma.
Yeah, we've been hearing this about this 4:24:29 for so long. So this is the explanation that okay. One
Yeah.
who does this, they do not become Brahma, they become an associate of Brahma.
I don't know whether this is alone is enough to become. It says it's much more rare. What it means, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
It could mean that you do more, or it could mean that you could also become by doing this. But it's rare.
Mhm.
Either you have to do more pious activities, or this itself is enough. But it's rare. That needs to be independently checked. From what our acharyas have said, besides what is spoken here. Yeah. We know that Ashwatthama is supposed to become the next Brahma.
Hmm?
So when it says 100 lifetimes, I don't know the 100 lifetime refers to the calculation of 100 births uh, according to just earthly calculations. Whether it refers to human beings on earth, I mean, yeah, could be. That's something which we need to check. I don't want to speculate. We'll just take it as it is here, and then we'll have to find out more.
Really, Ashwatthama did so heinous acts. How can he be eligible to become Brahma?
No, but to become the next Brahma means how long he has to live here in this material world. It's not a joke, you know.
Was it not Bali Maharaj? Bali Maharaj is supposed to become the next Indra.
Yeah, that could be. But I was talking about Brahma. No,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
Ashwatthama.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Ashwadhama, okay. Yeah.
No, but I
So,
think he has to also undergo penance and all. That was told by one scholar only who's loyal to Prabhupada's teachings. I just quoted him. That's all. I just need to. I don't have not read the reference directly, but I'm sure that he would have some reference. I can find out. Even this also, I can just clarify this question. All these questions I can ask him at one shot. Just remind me in the group. You know,
text number 49, right? Go ahead,
49,
Praveen.
yeah, 49. Yeah, go ahead. You can go to 50.
यस्यो परिनावर्तिता ब्रह्माण्डे भुवनं परं लोको नारायणस्यापि वैकुण्ठाख्यो यत्तन्त्रे. Within the universe, there is no higher world than yours. Even Lord Narayan's Vaikuntha planet is found inside your world. यस्मिन् नित्यं वसेत् साक्षान् महापुरुषा विग्रह सपदामा नाभो यज्ञनां भागान् अश्नान् तत्तत् फलम्. On Brahmaloka, Lord Narayan resides always in his manifest form as a lotus-naveled Mahapurush. He eats his shares of sacrifice and grants the sacrificial results. Parmaneshwarash Parmaneshannanyasir Yashyodeshopi na tvaya pura prapta param drishtas tapobhir hridaya kshanan. Although in the distant past you made many attempts and were unable to find him, after performing austerities, you finally saw him, just for a moment in your heart. The Supreme Lord, from whose navel Brahma was born, is extremely difficult to find. Brahma's having obtained the virtually unobtainable is evidence that the Lord has special regard for him. Lord Brahma, to search for his origin, first entered the stem of his lotus seat. For a long time, he traced the stem back, searching for its source, even in the ocean that fills the lower regions of the universe, but he could find nothing. What to speak of identifying his Lord and understanding him? Brahma failed even to locate him physically. Lord Vishnu then graced him with a simple spoken instruction: do penance. Brahma obeyed and, after long meditation, received a short vision of the Lord. This history is described in detail in the second and the third cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. तत्सत्यम् अशि कृष्णस्य त्वम् एव नितरां प्रिया अहो नूनं स एव तं लीलानानावपुत्रः थरः. Therefore, you are surely the dearmost devotee of Lord Krishna. Indeed, you are none other than Krishna himself, appearing in various bodies for your pastimes. Brahma might object to being called Krishna himself. He might argue the Lord is sitting right here in his Mahapurush form with thousands of heads. Besides this form, he has countless others. But I am someone different, a finite living being with only four heads. Narada therefore says that among the Lord's infinite pastime appearances are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the material creation, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, each of them non different from the original Supreme Person. Prabhuji,
Yes.
all this is as we read, but then still, like to my mind, as I'm reading this, when we're reading that they're non-different from the original Supreme Person, then we also have the Brahman Vimon Leela.
No, it means
So,
just like the jivas are also
how?
non-different from the Supreme Person, right? Like that. Achintya
Mm,
Beda Abheda. We are also same, no? It's not that we are different. I think once explained this concept, right? The concept of Vishesha, which means
yes,
that sugar and sweetness,
yes,
uh,
yes.
like that. So you cannot separate the two. At the same
Mm,
time, there is a difference also. But because it's called an appearance of difference, it's called Vishesha. So um, there are many types of inconceivable. That's why it's called inconceivable, because you can't conceive it. You can't separate sugar from uh, sweetness from
from the
sugar.
sweetness. Mm,
Yeah, you say there is sugar which holds sweetness, right? But what does
mm,
it mean? Sugar holds sweetness. So it is indistinguishable, right? So similarly, the jivas and the Supreme Lord are indistinguishable in that sense. Okay, but they're not two separate things. But at
good
the
news.
same time, all of Krishna's energies manifest as persons also. So
Mm,
that's why it's considered inconceivable. And we are finite, and the Lord is infinite. So here the sameness is being stressed. That's all.
this respect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. They're not ontologically, or they're not like, yeah, yeah. They're not ontologically the same. That's you could say same. Okay, same and different. Let me put that. Achintya Veda Veda. That's all.
Mm.
Ontologically, that is our philosophy. We are same and different. Here, that sameness is being stressed. That's all.
All right, Prabhuji. Thank you.
But when it comes to the Vishnu Tattvas, there's no question of same and different. They're same. That's it. Shaktiman. There is Shaktiman and Shakti. While referring to Shaktiman, you just say it's the same. Finished. But when it comes to Shakti, all types of Shaktis are same and different.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi Krishna Prabhuji. For the Vishnu Tattvas, just you just mentioned, but there are differences in the quantity, like 196, like that.
No, no,
This
no, no,
is
no, 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 no. That is only a manifestation. Our Acharyas explain just like the moon. Moon may manifest only half during the middle of the fortnight, but it may by the end of the fortnight it becomes full. So just that not that the moon is divided into half.
Hmm.
So when it says Krishna manifests 64, it just simply means Krishna manifests 64. It's not the others don't have 64. So that's why Prabhupada said when Krishna is in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, do you mean Radharani is not there? That's why he named the Delhi deities Radha Parthasarathi. There's nothing called Parthasarathi on the Radha on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But that is that's the understanding that they're the same. They just they don't manifest necessarily.
Swans, also Swanch expansions, you mean to say?
All of Vishnu Tattvas are exactly identical. That's why the example of the candle, one candle which lights the other candle is there.
Yeah.
All of them are equal.
Yeah, thank you.
Just that they don't manifest themselves fully to us. Krishna manifests fully. And Krishna is the source of all the incarnation. That's also there. One candle lit all the other candles. That's what Brahma Samhita says. Yeah. But in terms of when it comes to energy, that's a different consideration altogether. Where there is simultaneous oneness and difference. Then you have Lord Shiva. Shiva is actually Shaktiman transformed. But that's another whole complex thing to understand. Is transformation of Shaktiman. He's not Shakti. Shiva is not Shakti. Whereas Jivas and others are Shakti. You know, there are different types of Shakti. Aladini Shakti. What is it? Tatastha Shakti and Bahiranga Shakti, external energy. Antaranga, Tatastha and Bahiranga. Aladini is one feature of the Antaranga Shakti. Aladini, Samvit is another this thing of the feature of the internal. There are three features: Sandini, Samvit, and Aladini. Just like for the material world, there are three modes: Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Sattva-guna. Like that. So material energy is manifested in three modes.
So Antaranga and Aladini are not same?
All the three put together is called Antaranga.
Okay.
Antaranga means internal. All the three put together are called Antaranga. Similarly, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, all put together is called Bahiranga. Then you have Tatastha, which is the Jivas. Okay, can go ahead, Badri.
Shri Parikshit Uvacha Itham Mahatmayam Udgayan Vishtarya Brahmano Shakrita Shakra Proktam Swadrishtam Cha Bhaktya Sittam Naman Muni. Shri Parikshit said, thus loudly praising Brahma, bowing before him with great devotion again and again, the sage Narad expansively sang Brahma's glories, as he had heard them from Indra and seen them with his own eyes. Indra had told Narad, Brahma is the very son of Lord Vishnu, husband of Lakshmi, and had mentioned several of Brahma's glories. Narad knew from scriptures other glories of Brahma and now was seeing even more. Shravan eva tat vakyam dasho smriti mahurvadan chatur vaktro astra karnanam pithane vyagratam gata. Merely by hearing what Narad said, Brahma grew disturbed. He anxiously covered his 8 eyes and said over and over again, I'm just a servant. Ashravya Shravanaj Jatam Kopam Yatnena Dharayan Swaputram Naradam Praha Sakyepam Chatur Anannaha. With some effort, the four-headed Brahma checked the anger stirred within him by hearing what no one should hear and rebuked his son Narad. Having to work with the material mode of passion, Lord Brahma is sometimes briefly affected by anger here because his son praised him inaptly as the independent Supreme Lord. He almost lost his temper. श्रीब्रह्मोवाच अहं न भगवान् कृष्ण इति त्वं किं परमाननाथ युक्तितश्च मयाभीक्षणं बोधितोऽसि न बालयतः. Sri Brahma said, I am not the Supreme Lord Krishna. On what authority and by what logic do you say this? Haven't I constantly taught you about this since you were a little boy? In Brahminical culture, one should not make any claim unless it is upheld by the Vedas or their authorized supplements. Thus, Brahma rightly demands the scriptural evidence for Narad's statements. As the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam recounts, Brahma had carefully educated his son in spiritual science. Tasya Shaktir Mahamaya दासिवेक्षपते स्थिता सृजातिदं जगत्पाति स्वगुणे संहरति अपि. His personal energy, Mahamaya, stands within his sight like a maidservant. It is she who deploys her material molds to create, maintain, and demolish this world. By the power of Rajogun, Mahamaya creates, by Sattvagun she maintains, and by Tamogun she destroys. These are her potencies, and she is their controller. Tasya eva vayam sarve api adhina mohitastaya tanna Krishna kripaleshyasya api patram avehimam. All of us are subject to her and bewildered, so you should not think me the recipient of even a trace of Krishna's mercy. All of us means Brahma, his sons, and their descendants, or in other words, everyone born into material existence. You are also one of us bewildered souls, Brahma here implies, and so you are speaking earnestly like this. तन्माया येव सततं जगतो अहं कुरु प्रभो पितामहश्च कृष्णस्य नाभिपद्मासमुद्भवा तपस्वी आराधका आराधकस्तस्येति आद्यैर्गुरुमतिर्हता ब्रह्मानन्दावस्या का परा व्यापारमर्षा विहवला भूता प्रयात्मा योगिया लोकिया नाशा चिन्ता नियन्त्रितः सर्वाग्रासी महाकालात् भितो मुक्तिं param वृणे. By the power of Krishna's Maya, I am always deluded by various conceits. I think myself the controller, grandfather, and spiritual master of the universe. Proud of my birth from Krishna's lotus navel, I think myself a great ascetic, his great worshipper. I am overwhelmed by the countless duties of universal management, worrying about the imminent destruction of my planet. I live in terror of the all devouring end of time. All I want for myself is liberation. According to Brahma, being the lord of all creatures in the universe is not a sign of Krishna's favor. On the contrary, it is the cause of great trouble. His worldly responsibilities, he says, fill him with false pride and expose him to all kinds of anxiety. Brahma is bewildered by various kinds of abhiman, false identity. He thinks himself everyone's progenitor, protector, and regulator, as if he alone were the beginning, middle, and end of creation. He sees himself as the first teacher of the Vedas and all other scriptures and the highest authority who appoints the demigods to their posts. He may be called self born, but that name is not literally true, since he was born from the lotus growing form of from he was born from a lotus growing from the navel of Garbhodikshai Vishnu. That the personified Vedas and other principal scriptures attend Lord Brahma in his court does not prove that the Supreme Lord favors him. Rather, the presence of the revealed scriptures means that Brahma is all the more bound to follow their dictates in managing the universe. These scriptures may praise Brahmalok, but Brahma is acutely aware that his planet is soon to be destroyed. He may long outlive the demigods headed by Indra, but he still has to die, and anticipating the end of the world and the end of his life keeps Brahma always afraid.
This is very interesting because what is Brahma's lifespan? Brahma's
Mhm.
lifespan is inconceivable in one sense from our perspective. But look at the last sentence of that commentary. It says that he may long outlive the demigods headed by Indra, but he still has to die. And anticipating the end of the world and the end of his life keeps Brahma always afraid. Pretty interesting. I mean, I think this is a sign, not I think, it is a fact. This is a sign of intelligence because intelligent means to see reality for what it is. So that's why it is said that the mode of goodness is illuminating. So the tendency to enjoy blindly in this material world is stemming from passion and ignorance. When one comes to the mode of goodness, Brahma is the most pious living entity in the planet. So, because he's in the mode of goodness, everything is very illuminating to him. So, he's not often covered by passion and ignorance. So, although his work is in the mode of passion, but nothing is free. Like Prabhupada said, nothing is free from the modes in this material world. So he's predominantly to a very high degree on the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, they're able to see reality. And the only way to enjoy material world is to forget reality. If you remember reality, you cannot enjoy this material world. So that's why sometimes when devotees take to Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada teaches us all the realities, they become depressed because they think that their plans to enjoy is anyway destroyed. Because it speaks about birth, death, old age, disease, the threefold miseries, and all kinds of things. That these are realities, and when one is faced with those kind of realities, one's appetite for enjoyment vanishes. That is a good thing. If one's appetite for enjoyment of this material world vanishes, that's a good thing. But the problem is that because people have the appetite for enjoyment, and when they hear these things, they become discouraged. So they become discouraged, and one sign of discouragement is that they become depressed. They may practice Krishna consciousness very mechanically because all their plans are faced with the reality of birth, death, old age, disease, and all the things that Prabhupada writes in his books. So because of that, uh, because of coming in touch with knowledge, which is illuminating, they feel, oh, what is the point in life? Let me somehow or the other practice Krishna consciousness. However, uh, enthusiasm is, Rupa Goswami explains, is the basic principle of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Without enthusiasm, utsaha, he says in the Bhakti Rasamrita, sorry, in Upadeshamrita, utsaha nishchaya dhairya. So utsaha is the most important principle in devotional service. So how do we reconcile this lack of appetite for being engaged with this material world and utsaha? Lack of appetite for being engaged with the material world is fine if it is for one's own sense enjoyment. But one should have a great appetite for enjoying for engaging with the material world for Krishna's service. That is called Yukta Vairagya. That one thinks that this material world is a place fit for one's own enjoyment. That gets very destroyed that gets completely destroyed when one reads Srila Prabhupada's books. So there's no way that one can think that one can enjoy this material world. But the books teach us that we are not supposed to look at the world in a fatalistic manner. We're supposed to look at the world as an energy of Krishna. So we are supposed to fully engage with the world in engaging the world and its people in the service of the Lord. So that principle of enthusiasm is there. This is the Lord's energy. I need to engage this in the service of the Lord. So that is something which we can test. Are we enthusiastic or not? There's nothing to be not enthusiastic in this material world. Other than one's own sense gratification, there is nothing to be discouraged about this material world except one's own sense gratification. Because it's Krishna's energy, there's unlimited opportunities to engage Krishna's energy in Krishna's service. There's unlimited opportunity to make this world into Vaikuntha, which is the mandate given to us by Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. So one should be unlimitedly enthusiastic. One should see every object. How can I engage the service of Krishna? How can I talk to this person about Krishna? How to use everything in Krishna's service is a very interesting prospect. So, however, because one has a tendency for one's own enjoyment, when one reads all this, then one feels, okay, I have now come into touch with knowledge, and anyway, what is all this? Enjoyment is all useless, and one becomes depressed. I had these plans, they're all destroyed by reading Prabhupada's books. So then they mechanically practice Krishna consciousness. So anyway, let me just get through this life somehow or the other. So that's a wrong attitude. That's still one's absorption in one's own self. But absorption in Krishna consciousness means to follow the Mahajanas, follow the great acharyas, follow Bali Maharaj, follow the great acharyas, who teach us that one has to be always enthusiastic by engaging everything that one encounters in the service of the Lord. So this Brahma being afraid is a positive thing. Afraid in the sense that this material world is fit. One has to be afraid of this material world, which that comes only when one has proper knowledge. So afraid means afraid due to the fact that it's not fit for one's own sense enjoyment. Therefore, it should make one afraid. That is the cause of fear. It should be. That's the sense of being afraid, that this place is very dangerous. It's not fit for sense gratification. There are two kinds of fear. One is that fear of Maya. One is fear due to Maya. So afraid here is not due to the fear due to Maya here. Fear due to Maya means one is forgetful. Okay, when one is forgetful, one continuously gets entangled in this material world. So one has to be afraid of falling into Maya. One has to be afraid of losing one's chance to perform devotional service. That is called fear of Maya. That is what is being explained here. He's afraid of Maya in that sense. But one is not afraid due to Maya. Due to identification with matter, we are not afraid. That is for the non-devotees. Devotees don't identify with Maya. And because devotees don't identify with Maya, they're not afraid. It's like Abhay Charan, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we are not thinking we are the body. We are not thinking the body is meant for enjoyment. We are not thinking that our kinsmen are meant for our enjoyment. We are not thinking that our place of birth is worshipable for our enjoyment. We are not thinking that the world is a place for us to exploit for our enjoyment. We are not thinking any of these things. Therefore, we do not have the fear caused by Maya, but we have the fear of Maya, which means that this is so dangerous. I mean, we have been given this illumination by Srila Prabhupada, but it's so easy to forget all these things. And death is going to come. Death is going to come. So I better be properly practicing Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, at the time of death, my practice will be unfinished and I'll have to take another birth. Okay. Any thoughts, questions, reflections?
Prabhuji, can you explain this line also? I understand the line, but just that the personified Vedas and the other principal scriptures attend Lord Brahma in his court does not prove that the Supreme Lord favors him. So the Vedas actually emanated from Lord Brahma's mouth, right?
No, it's just a medium, Mataji.
He was a medium through
Yeah, Vedas are eternal. No, Vedas are eternal. Just like
the
Prabhupada
eternal.
says, just like sandalwood grows in the region of Malaya. That's why it's called Malaya sandalwood. But that does not mean that Malaya is the cause of sandalwood.
They were
So
always
like that.
existing. They were
Yeah,
eternal.
Vedas are
They were always
eternal.
existing.
Yeah, they just manifested through the mouth of Brahma, so he's glorified. That's all.
Ah. Mhm.
Any thoughts, questions, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, yes, Pachi.
Prabhuji, why did Narad Muni give such a statement? Narad Muni is a devotee of the Lord and he glorifies the Lord. He knows that Brahma is not supreme. So why did he glorify Brahma like this? That he is Krishna?
No, it's not. It's basically you'll see. I mean, it's not like it's not. He didn't do it in ignorance. He's just magnifying the position uh, uh, of 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 uh, of Brahma. Just like sometimes when I talk, so I just say sometimes that Srila Prabhupada is God for the internet members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It does not mean that he's Bhagavan, but he's God in the sense that he's the final authority. He is the ultimate authority in as far as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is concerned. So sometimes I use that expression, Prabhupada is God for the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Doesn't mean that he's God in the omnipotent and omniscient in
Mm-hmm.
that sense.
Okay.
I mean, he's just he's just highlighting the key role of Brahma. There is no equal to Brahma in this material world. Of course, I mean, in terms of, I mean, great devotees, that's a different thing. I'm talking in general, that position has nothing equal to that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an empowered incarnation of God also. It's not just an ordinary person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it is said that without being empowered by the Lord, no one can spread the holy names. So technically, and Prabhupada writes that such a person is referred to as Shakti Avishavatar. You could say that Prabhupada is Shakti Avishavatar. I mean, there's no. In fact, once when I spoke in a class that we shouldn't be referring to Prabhupada as Shakti Avishavatar, then I remember one of Prabhupada's disciples, he chastised me in the class.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what I was referring to is the fact that Prabhupada did not want him to be represented as a Shakti Avishavatar. That's all. But it's not that he is not. He is. He is. Definitely he is. You know.
Yes.
So that's the point.
Okay.
So yeah. So Brahma is actually not the supreme personality of Godhead, but he's an empowered incarnation of the Lord. So he is. I mean, so it's not technically wrong to say that he's God, in the sense that he's an empowered incarnation of God, right? So in that sense, he is God. In that sense, yeah. Empowered incarnation is called avatar only, no? Yeah.
Yes. Prabhuji.
Yeah. Of course, because we have studied Prabhupada's books, we know. Therefore, we can understand these different phrases that are being used. That's all. But otherwise, for a newcomer, all this will be very bewildering. Any other thoughts, questions, reflections? Okay, so I think we'll stop here today. Resume again next Thursday. Okay, so thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Finally, we resumed after a long hiatus. Okay. There are 10 people today. Oh my God. It's quite a lot of devotees. Okay. Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you
Shri
so much.
Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki